All right, it has gone live. So I'm a mess. I've had a migraine all morning and it's finally eased up. And let's switch the camera around so you can see what's going on here. We're going to inspect these two hives, and that's Marshall, and these are his hives. It's a little windy right now, but the temperature is decent, and we're just going to do some quick hive dives here to see if we see anything major. This hive has already succumbed to winter, and there was a fourth hive. So Marshall is right in line with what I experienced in my first 8 years, which is I lost 50% of my hives every winter. So with that being said, the smoker's already going. I'm going to put this glove on and put the hat on, and I'm going to hand the phone to my awesome videographer, Marshall. All right.
Wait, okay,
So we're going to start with the hive that generally likes to chase me away. And I have only one glove. And the reason I have only one glove is I have a feral cat. I'm pretty sure it's Callie. No, that's okay. I'll tuck it if I have to. Callie likes to steal gloves. I've caught her doing it, and I'm pretty sure she got one of my bee gloves and has it hidden under a bush or a deck or a hot tub or wherever it is she takes her stuff to hoard. Okay, making sure I'm all sealed up here. And I do have a hoodie on underneath like this, so if the bees get nasty, I can go ahead and tuck my hand in there. One thing I don't like about these suits is this elastic wears out really rapidly. Never wash these in hot water. I actually wrap them a couple times to make it work. Okay. So this is our first hive inspection of 2023. How about you come around to this side, Marshall? I'm gonna put some smoke in there. This is a Country Rubes base, so we can actually put the nozzle right in there and pump some smoke into this thing. And then I'll open up the top, pump some smoke in. I thought that was a spider. I almost jumped. I almost jumped. So look at that. The pollen patty has gotten all mildewy and they haven't been eating it.
Yeah.
And this is the one with that crappy lid on it that we still need to replace. I see bees all the way up in the top of this already. So this is looking good. I'll just leave the smoke over here by the entrance. And before I even go into the hive, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff here. I'm actually going to throw this into there. We'll clean that out before we put it back on. We got some mildew for sure in here. So we'll put that in the green can to get rid of it rather than just throw it on the ground. And does this have notches in it? Is this the one that had the smaller notches?
It has notches. Wait, yes it does.
Yeah, we got 2 notches in the front, and they're good size. So it's just been a wet winter.
It has.
And this lid is particle board.
Yeah.
Okay, this is coming off really easily. Now this hive has chased me more than once. In fact, it would have been wonderful to catch the one scene as I was peeling my clothes off running across the yard. I wasn't screaming though. All right, this is looking good. The top box has 1, 2, 3, 4 frames with bees on them. And they're nice and calm today. This is sweet. I did not bring my extra set of hands.
I have one, but
yeah, if you want to grab that one, you have. Let's go ahead and I'll just take the camera and I'm going to set it right here for right now. Marshall's going to grab a hanger that holds up the frames. Okay, we got good spacing in here, so I can actually get these out pretty easily. I always start with the second one in, less likely to break a frame. This one is blank, so I don't need to worry about it too much. There's a little bit of honey on there. that one right there. And wow, they got lots of stores. That's a bunch of honey. I got to tell you, this one's a good collector. This hive is a good collector. And let's just go ahead and smoke them again. And for those that aren't familiar with why we use smoke, there's two reasons. One is that the smoke will mask their alarm signals. So if you crush a bee or one gets irritated and thinks that they're being attacked, the others will not smell that signal that it's sending off, and so they won't all become aggressive instantly. You won't have a whole bunch of bees getting all crazy on you. And this has just got a ton of honey in it so far. Oftentimes when I start looking and there's a ton of honey, I get worried that they don't have a queen. Okay, so this has got some mildew on it, so I'm actually going to just take this one out for right now. So I use the hand bump method. I don't hit the frame, I hit my own hand, and the bees come right off of it. I'm just going to set that aside. You can see this. Oh, sorry, the camera's over here now. You can see that mold on there. I'm going to scrape that off before we put it back in. And now that I've got enough frames out of the way, I'll just slide these over one at a time. We're going to inspect this. So far, just honey. I'm hoping to see some brood up in this upper chamber, but so far none. Okay, so you got some little ladders built there. I'm not going to scrape them off. And again, just lots of honey. There's too many bees here for there not to be a queen. I got to tell you that right now. This many bees do not survive the winter. So I'm going to guess that the brood is in the bottom, and these bees are just doing a good job of collecting the resources. Those look like just regular comb. I am going to scrape those ones off, so I'm going to knock these bees off. And I'm going to go ahead and give it some smoke, and there is brood.
Yes.
Right in the center of this.
And there's brood in that one.
And there's brood on the next one. So this is really good. This is actually excellent. So I'm going to just scrape this little bit of wax off of here. And I'm going to put this right back in as quick as I can. And there's plenty of brood on the back side. I don't know that I even want to do any more inspection on this, Marshall. We know there's a queen.
Do we need to put another box on there?
We do need to put another box on here.
Okay.
The bottom is completely full. The top is, we don't actually have to, but I'd rather them not swarm because we're going to want to split this hive.
Yeah.
So go grab a clean excluder and a medium box that's ready to go. So I don't want to risk injuring the queen. This is a great hive. I also don't want it to be cold. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these frames right back in. This is enough for me to see what's going on in here. I don't see any problems. I've seen no signs. I've seen no signs of wax moth, and I've seen no signs of hive beetles. Now Varroa, I can inspect the bottom board to check to see if there's any Varroa in it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this extra set of hands off. I'm getting some good spacing in there. Not a lot of propolis. These bees are more interested in collecting nectar than they are propolis. So I'm going to put this frame in this way. I'm actually reversing it because there's a bit of a bulge there. And then I'm going to go ahead and scrape this off. And I'm going to scrape it off onto the lid, and then I'm going to walk this lid over. Actually, you know what? Wow. There's why. Look how wet that is. It just, in this case, it's just some super wet, sticky honey. I'm going to make a mess here. Or nectar. Right down the side of the box. Boy, they're going to hate me for that.
I think they're fresh.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
We're good. I want to seal this up as quick as possible. I want it to stay nice and warm since there's brood on top. I don't want this wind to cool it off at all. All right. So the only other thing I can think of doing is I do have that medium feeder with syrup, and we can pull out 2 of these frames and put that medium feeder in here and that'll get these bees to draw out a lot more comb up here in the top section. So yeah, we'll be splitting this hive pretty quickly here. I'm going to just scrape this a little bit more.
I can get a fresh one from the shed.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and grab the one off that top, right there. And then we can just clean this up later. Okay, so we're going to replace this whole thing for right now. Is that one notched? So, yeah, let's do it anyways. So we'll make a note of that in our notes. We're gonna we need to notch this, and then we will be splitting this into that hive right there. All right, so that's really good, folks. That's a good, healthy hive. It's overwintered very well. So we're just gonna switch this around. I'll give Marshall the camera back. And you just work the camera, Marshall. I got this stuff. Show everybody what an awesome videographer you can be.
Yeah.
All right, so again, not a country rubes. So I will go for the front entrance. And we're still reduced down here. There is a secondary opening. This one's not quite as healthy. Find out soon enough. I'm not seeing bees right away in the top.
I saw one.
Okay, this one's notched. Yeah, a little more propolis on this one. They are eating that pollen somewhat. You can see they've eaten some of it, and then there's some mildew on it as well. So at this point in time, I think I'm just going to cut off that mildewy paper. We may put this back in here since these bees seem to like it. So I'm going to put that over here for right now. And I'm not seeing a lot of activity. There is one frame here, but we're going to inspect this part afterwards. And let me go ahead and smoke it and come around to the back side. So that's one thing I'm doing at my house, is removing that pampas grass is going to allow me to work from the back side, and I'll have enough space for 2 rows. So I'm thinking about putting long langstraws in the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this down in here. Okay, so here we only have 2 frames with bees on them. And we're definitely not going to be adding to this one.
Okay.
But we are going to inspect to see what's going on. It looks like this side is actually better. There's a bigger gap. But this whole thing, these bees did a lot of propolis. And there we go. Okay. So again, second frame in, less likely to damage something. And I'll look for a frame or 2 that has heavy propolis on it. And those will be the ones that I scrape, because this one, I don't want it to be this tight next time I come into it. So this is nice. Got a bunch of drawn out comb, and there's some nectar in it, and some capped, and a lot of pollen. Let's put that in the sun. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Look at that in the sun. So, excuse me, Marshall. Okay, these bees are very docile. I probably just jinxed myself by saying that. But we're gonna go ahead, make room over here. Okay, so this is a medium frame that has some wild comb built onto the bottom of it, and it's really moldy, so I'm just gonna leave that one out. And we'll put in a deep frame in here to replace that one. Okay, so we've got a horseshoe pattern that's empty. And this would normally be good. It's being filled up with pollen. Put it in the sunlight for you.
Oh, yeah.
You can see all that pollen in there. However, I would prefer to see some brood, and it looks like we only have probably 2 frames with brood on them in this hive. So the next one over, same thing. Look, and they're starting to kind of run low on honey there on that side. This side again, Lots of pollen.
And our bird.
So they've got stores. So maybe this queen's just a little slow in getting started. We'll find out in the next couple frames what's going on in this hive. Okay, same sort of thing. There's a bee with pollen on it, so that means they're actively collecting pollen right now. And there's a ton of pollen in this. I don't want to disturb these bees, but I do want you to see this pollen. So I'm going to go ahead and just blow on it. And there you can see all that pollen.
Wow.
So these are good pollen collectors. And there's a hive beetle. I'm actually going to I got it.
Good.
And I got a bee too.
Oh.
And that's bad because I didn't get the beetle. I think the beetle got away and I got a bee instead. And I feel bad. I'm going to set this back down in here and I'm going to smoke it because there's probably a scent of a dead bee. When a bee dies, I saw a couple of them get real active right there. So this little bit of smoke's going to help. Thank you, Marshall. So, yeah, and I hear an increase in noise. I'm getting towards the center.
Yes,
okay, so if you can look straight down in there, I don't know if there's enough light, but straight down in there, you'll see some bees are festooning. Not a lot of them, but there are 3 little rows of festooning bees. Just love that word. Okay, we've got brood, so we've got a queen in here. Because this is such a small thing, I'm going to continue to inspect it. And I'm losing my sunlight right now. That's a lot. And I see wet larvae in there. Do you see the white wet larvae?
Yeah.
I do not see a queen. I did not put my readers on. I don't see her. You know, I hate to stop doing this. Yeah, I'm not going to stop doing it. Let's grab the smoke again. I'm seeing a couple of them getting a little antsy. So she should be on this frame or the next one. And I apologize that I didn't put my readers on.